So I'm going to deal with tariffs, but just a couple of things first on what's been said. First, yes, the Constitution's the product of trauma, but it is a magnificent document. I mean, to think
trauma can make great
absolutely,
things.
absolutely. But I think it's important to understand. Yes, there is this stuff about a strong executive for all the reasons the judge has identified coming out of the Articles of Confederation. But it is also one that is checks and balances laced into the document. And, Federalist 51, Madison lays it out very cleanly. People aren't angels. And so you need government, and you need government to be divided to check each other. And what they didn't anticipate fully is the rise of political parties that would be so blind that they would just do the president's bidding no matter what. And that's why you see, where is Congress today? I mean, it is AWOL. And it is, and so the founders, for all their vision and all their genius, I don't think quite anticipated this. And that's why we have some of the problems we have. And with respect to Judge Mukasey, I do want to say, I think that when we think about what's happened in the Trump presidency so far, yes, there are constitutional problems, but there are also very much departures from norms. And those aren't necessarily unconstitutional. When you indict John Bolton and James Comey and investigate Jerome Powell and Letitia James and Don Lemon and 6 members of Congress, there isn't necessarily something unconstitutional about that. There might be, but it is such a departure from the norms. I saw it today, and I thought it was AI. I saw on, in social media, a picture of the Justice Department, the beloved place where we worked at 10th and Constitution, outside with a huge banner of President Trump in front of the Justice Department. That is not the Justice Department that I knew. The Justice Department I knew, which I started the day that Judge Mukasey left, January 20th, and he put in place Mark Phillip to be the acting Attorney General, the deputy. And Mark Phillip ran the department with the Obama administration for a few weeks while the person was being confirmed by Attorney General Holder. And Mark Phillip ran it in a nonpartisan way. He treated us as respectfully and incredibly as possible. The judge's 2 solicitors general who served before him, under him, both met with me multiple times in the weeks before to tell me what's at issue in the office, how to run it, what the big issues were, and approached it in a totally nonpartisan way. So much so that I didn't change a single position that the Bush administration took when I came into office. That's the Justice Department, non-political. My staff, 16 attorneys, I thought they were all going to be kind of right-wing firebrands. No, there were 13 of them that were Democrats, actually, in this office. And that's the way the Justice Department is.
You're saying during the Bush administration?
Yes. Right. Career, non-political, and during Obama and during Biden. Now you have an attorney general who is insisting on loyalty tests to be a prosecutor in any of the 94 offices. The question in the interview is, tell me which executive orders of the president do you want to enforce the most, and things like that. So I think that there's the norms question is separate from the constitutional one, but very important. With respect to tariffs, okay. So. Yes, there's this 1977 law, IEPA, which says in an emergency, the president has the power to have all sorts of things. And one of the things it says is regulate importation. Nobody for 50 years thought this meant tariffs. They thought it meant blockades and things like that, because tariffs are fundamentally different. You go back to the founding, you think about the Boston Tea Party, tariffs are taxes on the American people that we're paying them. And the founders said in Article 1, Section 8, that power resides in Congress and only in Congress. Indeed, it's the first enumerated set of powers Congress has in Article 1, Section 8, the power to tariff. The president basically said, I can do this, even though no president read it that way. He said, I can do this. We're in an emergency. Now, if you want to know whether Judge Mukasey's prediction or question about, who is this person running the Office of Legal Counsel at the Justice Department, are they telling the president, are they advising the president? Well, this law says, this 1977 law says, in order to trigger it, you've got to show an unusual and extraordinary emergency, okay? The president's executive order on tariffs says 9 times they have been persistent and common for the last 50 years. So the exact opposite of what the statute requires, which is a good tell that the Office of Legal Counsel is either not being consulted or asleep at the switch.
Did the Supreme Court see this?
So the Supreme Court did ask a few questions about that, but honestly, winning on something like that is very difficult because there's such deference to what is an emergency and so on. So most of the focus, at least for our time there, was focused on the question, what does regulate importation mean? Does it really give the president the power to tariff the American people? If so, then the president could, as we said, declare an emergency, a future Democratic president, a climate emergency, and raise tariffs 1,000% on every product from Saudi Arabia, oil or not. There's nowhere for that to end. I think that the argument went well in the Supreme Court. We'll have to see. It's under consideration right now, and we may know, as I say, tomorrow, as early as 10 a.m. tomorrow. I do think it's an important case on whether or not the president does have some checks and balances. Are the courts going to stand up? And this is one that was a truly bipartisan case. I mean, Judge Mukasey actually signed a brief on our side in that case, along with many, many other respected members of the legal establishment.